I want to thank Toronto for raising me to love movies.
Hello, hello!
Everyone has a big imagination. All of us do.
This is exciting. My first film to premiere here at the Toronto Film Festival. It's an exciting night.
You are the most globally exciting festival in the world.
Margaret Thatcher in 1984 was in power, and the story takes place against the backdrop of the miners' strike, which was at the time that she was making an ideological decision, really, to take apart trade unions and the strongest of the trade unions, which was the National Union of Mine Workers. And we joined the story just sort of as the strike begins.
This is pretty much astonishing news for everybody. And certainly for me, when I read the script, I couldn't believe that it's a true story. It's such a perfect story that that is hard to believe, but also that we don't know it, that we haven't heard it. That's equally hard to believe. And we get this again and again. It's a kind of a scandal, although Stephen always says the other side of that is that he thought, fantastic.
Yeah. He really got it. I think that was one of the things that when I met Stephen was how we got it, how we understood the importance of what had gone on and the long-term legacy of it, and making the links with things that have happened in Britain and the changes and the advancements that we've made politically on behalf of gay men and lesbian in Britain. But I just was mesmerised by this person who had a vision and who really believed in the story. And I said to my husband after the conversation, you know, if this guy delivers what he said he's going to deliver, it could be fabulous, you know, it could be great, and he's fulfilled all of those promises.
The script came through the door, and it's kind of unannounced, and I read it cold, and it made me laugh from start to finish. I laughed throughout, and good scripts are rare, and funny scripts are almost never. And it also, I never ever read, even when I was later, when I was studying it and had read it several times, I never got through it without crying at some point. It was one of the best scripts I've ever read in my life, and I was kind of desperate to be in it.
I think this movie is going to be a phenomenal success globally, and I just really be careful. And I'm really excited in it being shown in parts of the world where it's still really tough to be part of any minority community, not just the LGBT community, and perhaps in places where trade unions are still under attack. And I know I shouldn't say this, but in places where it's not allowed to go in, it will get in because it'll be smuggled in. And that gives me great comfort to think that people listen to that, and maybe it will spur them to action, maybe it will give them some strength, which, and of course, at the end of the day, unity is strength. That's what it's all about. You know, we are just one world, human.
This is the generation, though, that has coined the phrase "selfie." I don't think that's a coincidence in a way. And you know, with Twitter and everything, when you have 15 words or less to say something, what you choose to say is very, very important. And it would be great if people could use that opportunity to to say something that actually might not be looking towards yourself, but to say something about take a picture of somebody else. Yeah. But I think what was really brilliant for us in terms of preparing for creating an atmosphere for this film is the necessity of solidarity as actors together. It's quite unusual to be in a film where you're in a scene with sometimes 15 or 20 other actors. Usually there's 3 or 4 people maybe. So the idea of being in a film with lots of other people was actually really exciting and difficult for Matthew because we were all talking so much.
What Sean said about the strike is, if we didn't laugh, we would have cried, you know. Not once did they sit back and think, oh gosh, aren't we in a horrible place right now? They just move forward. So I think, hopefully with our performances, that's what we did as well. If we ever sat back and thought, oh, this is making me as Jess, the actress, emotional, you knew we weren't on the right track, because it's about powering through, and you know, it's not wallowing in any of that, or feeling anything about, it's like, come on, let's do this, forward we go.
Yes. As far as preparation goes, Mike was such a huge resource, and it wasn't just, okay, let's prep for this role and let's put the work in, but it made me ask a lot of questions of myself, and it makes you, it made me question a lot of values and ideologies, and I think Fay just hit it on the head. You know, it's something that I hope, an overwhelming response that we've had is that people leave the theater feeling inspired to do
Like,
something,
what
feeling
can we
fired
do?
up, and that's something
We
that,
need that,
you know,
man.
that's why you want to do this job, is to encourage people to ask questions and encourage people, if they have a cause that they're on the edge of, you know, fighting for, to just give them a little nudge, you know.
You're part of something much bigger, you know. It's not about ego, and it's not about any of that. You're with a group of actors that all believe so passionately in this story and the people, and it's just it's gun ho really, and you crack on because you're so lucky to be in it and to be doing it.